Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to another story time with Rabbi Sarah Fort, which is me. So it's great to, not see you because I can't see you right now, but to know that you're there is always a pleasure. We have a book to read as always, and it's a good one. Very on theme for right now because I don't know about you, but I'm cold, hence the sweater. Even in my apartment, it's cold. So it's a winter themed book. Even though it's not about Purim, which is a holiday coming up very, very soon. So I hope you got your costume ready. Maybe it's Go Texan theme because that's what we're doing here at Beth Yeshirin, Go Texan Purim. Or maybe you just got another costume sitting around. That'd be awesome. But today our book has nothing to do with Purim because I said it's a wintertime cold weather book. So it actually has to do with Hanukkah. But that's really not even the point of the whole story. It just happens to be happening at that time. So we have our book. We have our challah, and it's a very different shaped challah from normal, and our grape juice, and we'll of course have a blessing for all the girls and boys. So let's get started. Today's wonderful book is The Only One Club. And I told you it was a wintertime book because what's all this stuff going on? Oh, lots of snowflakes. Which apparently on, was it Sunday? Monday, I think maybe it's going to be snowing. My first winter here, everyone promised me, swore up and down, Rabbi Fort, don't worry, yes, our summers are unbearably hot, but our winters are so nice. And then you know what happened? It snowed, and there was ice on the road, and I said, you people, good thing I like all of you. But then after that, it was fine. See? Snow. So much snow. Kind of gets you in the mood for snow, so if it does end up snowing, at least we will be, ready. Mood-wise. The Only One Club. Sometimes you look around and you think, I am the only one like me. And sometimes that's kind of a scary thought, but sometimes it can actually be kind of nice. Kind of a little bit of both in this case, in this book. So let's get started. The Only One Club. Here you go. Bring you the picture a little closer because obviously you want to see the picture. Today, remember it's wintertime. Today we're all going to make Christmas decorations. Bet you didn't think the rabbi was going to talk about Christmas. I am. Christmas decorations, Mrs. Matthews said, as she handed out colored paper. Then we'll hang them on the classroom windows. Wow. Sounds like my experience in school as a kid. Jennifer Jacob's hand shot up. Yes, Jennifer, said Mrs. Matthews. Mrs. Matthews, I'm Jewish. I celebrate Hanukkah. This definitely sounds like my experience growing up. Oh, said Mrs. Matthews, are you the only one? Everyone looked around. No other hands were up. This is definitely my experience as a kid. Well, Jennifer, it looks like you are. You can make Hanukkah decorations instead. Scissors cut. Crayons, colored, laughter escaped, and there were giggles galore as the children turned paper into pointy trees, striped stockings, chubby gingerbread people, and lots of stars. Jennifer's star had 6 points instead of 5. See? It's a Star of David, she explained to Olivia, a Jewish star. Because the Star of David's kind of 2 triangles if you count up 3 points on one triangle and 3 points of another triangle. You got 6. There's 6 points in a Star of David, a Magen David, a Jewish star. Jennifer, said Mrs. Matthews, you can put your Hanukkah decorations up first. How nice. Jennifer proudly marched to the middle window and taped her stars, menorah, and chain of dreidels to the glass. Then she stood back to admire her work. Kind of nice. One at a time, the other children put up their decorations. The classroom looked magical and smiles stretched across happy faces. Then the bell rang. Coats were grabbed, hats flew onto heads, feet jumped into boots, and hands pushed into mittens as everyone ran out the door, heading for home. They got all their winter gear on, which probably we're going to have to be doing for the next little while. I'm the only one in my class who's Jewish, Jennifer announced that night at dinner. I'm the only one who made Hanukkah decorations. I'm the only one whose stars have 6 points instead of 5. And I got to put my decorations up first. That must make you feel special, her father said. After dinner, Jennifer took out her art supplies. She had an idea. She cut out a large orange circle and carefully edged it with glitter. Then, with her favorite marker, she wrote, "The Only One Club," on it in big letters. She pinned the badge to her sweater for school the next day. And gotta wear a sweater because it's cold. Olivia Raven noticed "The Only One Club" badge right away. "What's that for?" she asked. "I'm the only one in the class who's Jewish," Jennifer explained. "So I started a club, and I'm the only one in it." Jennifer skipped towards the classroom with Olivia right behind her. "Well, can I join?" asked Olivia. "No," said Jennifer, "you celebrate Christmas." "So, that's not what your badge says. It says the Only One Club, and I'm the only one in class whose last name is a kind of bird." It's true. Jennifer stopped skipping and turned away. She wasn't sure what to say. She doesn't look very sure. Jonah noticed the glittery badge during lunch. "What's the Only One Club?" he asked with a mouth full of peanut butter. "Could I join?" "You're not the only one of something, are you?" asked Jennifer. "Maybe," said Jonah. "What do you mean, maybe?" "Maybe I am." A minute later, Jonah shouted, "I'm the only one in our class with red hair." Jennifer could not argue about that. Jonah McBride had the reddest hair she had ever seen, with a gazillion matching freckles. I love freckles. Jennifer said. "I have to think about it." Jonah gave her a raspberry, spraying peanut butter all over the lunch table. This is clearly pre-COVID and in a school where peanuts are not an issue. "What's the badge for?" Stephen whispered to Jonah after lunch. "It's the Only One Club," Jonah whispered back. "Can I join?" asked Stephen. "Are you the only one?" Jonah asked back. "The only one what?" Stephen said. "The only one who's something that no one else is," Jonah explained. "But you'll have to ask Jennifer. She started the club and she's the only one in it." "I want to be in it too," Stephen whined. "I must be the only one of something." This is Stephen, and this is Jonah with the amazing red hair and freckles. By the time afternoon recess was over, everyone had asked if they could join the Only One Club, and Jennifer didn't know what to say. Later, she overheard Olivia asking some kids if they wanted to start a Not the Only One Club. Jennifer started to feel sad. Because that wasn't the point of doing the Only One Club. It wasn't to make everybody else feel bad. It was because she was the only one of this particular thing, the only Jewish kid. When she got home from school, Jennifer went straight to her room. She knew what she had to do. The next day, Jennifer lugged a huge shoebox to school. "What's in the box?" everyone asked. "Line up in front of me and I'll show you." Jennifer opened the box very slowly. It was bursting with Only One Club badges. "You can all be members of the Only One Club," Jennifer proclaimed as she handed out badges, "because Alex Martin, you are the only one in our class who was born on a bus. Nikki and Nina, you are the only identical twins in the whole school." That's cool. "Jonah McBride," we remember Jonah, right? "You have the reddest hair and the most freckles of anyone in the class, maybe even the whole universe." Jonah blushed redder than his hair. "Gwen Beecham, you are the only girl who wears a dress every single day with ribbons to match." She's in her hair, you see her long hair. Purple ribbons. Gwen twirled around and around. "Sam Lee, You are the only one with a pet iguana. Even has it on a shirt. If I had a pet iguana, I would also have a shirt with a pet iguana on it because that would be super cool. Julia Martinez, you are the only one who can jump double Dutch. That's so cool. I cannot do that. Julia bounced on her toes. Michael Baker, you are the only first grader in the high level math class, which means he is really good at math. Olivia Raven, you're the only one whose last name is a bird. We know that one. Olivia smiled as she ran around the room, flapping her arms, kind of like a bird. And Stephen Whittier, you are the only one who has all of his big, and I mean humongous, front teeth. Stephen just grinned. Jennifer handed out badges until everyone in the class had one. When Mrs. Matthews came in, she faced a sea of glittery badges and joyful smiles. "What's all of this?" she asked. "It's the Only One Club," everyone yelled, "and we're all members because we're all the only ones." Mrs. Matthews looked puzzled. I mean, she was kind of confused. "You tell her, Jennifer," said Olivia. "You started it." They all look so happy. "I started the club because I was the only one who was Jewish," Jennifer explained. "But then everyone said that they were the only ones of something. You're the only one here who isn't in our club, Mrs. Matthews, and since you're the only one, you can join too." Jennifer held out the biggest, most glittery badge of them all. Mrs. Matthews proudly pinned it to her shirt. "I'm really glad everyone's the only one of something," Jennifer said. "Me too, Jennifer," said Mrs. Matthews. "Me too." The Only One Club. So, Jennifer was the only Jewish kid in her class, and I think maybe even the only Jewish kid in her school. And that happens a lot. I was the only Jewish kid in my school, well, until my brother came to school growing up. And that might happen more depending on where you live or where you go to school. So it definitely happens, and sometimes it might feel a little weird knowing you're the only one in your class who, eats matzah during Passover. But everybody has something about them that makes them the only one in some kind of a way, because every single person is a little bit different, at least a little bit different. We're all at least a little bit different from each other. And that's kind of the way that we're supposed to be made. That was the whole plan the whole time. We're not all supposed to be like each other. If we were all like each other, life would be so boring. So it's good that we're different, even though sometimes it might make us feel a little weird, might make us feel not good because we feel like, well, I'm different. I don't want to be different from everybody else. But everybody's a little bit different. So enjoy what's different about you. Enjoy what's different about other people too, because our differences are really fun to celebrate, as well as the things that we have in common. I think it's time for us to bless some children. So if you are a child, or if you're young at heart, everybody could use a blessing, I think. And you are a girl, you can put a hand on your own head. If you are there with a parent or a grandparent, they can put a hand on your head if you will let them. And so over all of our girls, I'm doing this for myself because I am a girl. He'll say, Yisimech Elohim, Kisara Rivka Rechav Leah. May God make you like Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, and all the wonderful women of our tradition. And if you are a boy and you're there by yourself, you can put a hand on your own head. If you are there with a parent or a grandparent or someone older who loves you and you want, they can put a hand on your head. And for all of our boys, who say Yisimcha Elohim, K'Ephraim and Menashe, may God make you like Ephraim and Menashe, and all the wonderful boys of our tradition. And over all of our children, over everybody, because everybody's somebody's kid. Nice big group hug. If you're there by yourself, give yourself a hug, because can't we all use more hugs? I think so. I think we all could use more hugs. And over all of our children, nice big hug. We'll say Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, may God bless you and protect you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yikuneka, may God shine the divine face towards you always. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom, may God grant you the blessings that God grants all of God's children, which is all of us, especially that of shalom, which means, as you know by this point, it means peace. We could all use a little more peace too, and let us all say nice, big, loud, amen. I hear you from wherever you are right now saying it. And now, let's kiddush. So, first of all, if you have grape juice, maybe you do. I don't know if people actually have their own. But if you have your own, you can hold it up. If you have pretend, everybody can at least have pretend. You can hold pretend up. And whatever kind of, there's like fuzz on there. Ew. I don't want to drink fuzz. You can hold up your pretend kiddish cup full of whatever you will, preferably a grape product and preferably grape juice, because I don't think most of you are old enough. But if you're over, age, if you're the right age, you can hold up a glass of pretend wine too. We don't judge. And over our grape juice / wine, please join me if you would like, or just listen really, really good. We'll say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. And now, I don't think I've actually ever used a challah like this before. If you have challah, or bread, or tortillas, or hot dog buns, or a really big piece of pizza crust, could work as well. You can use that. If you have pretend, use whatever you have that's pretend, just lying around. Like, I have a bagel here. I can use a bagel. Or, I have a whole entire French baguette, whatever you want. In my case, I actually do have a challah, which I worked very hard to make the money to buy. And if you actually do have a real challah, you should maybe give it a sniff, because I think fresh bread smells so good. Maybe give it a tap. I don't know if you can you hear that? It also has a very distinctive sound. So, get your challah, whether real or pretend, and join me in the motzi all together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, ha-motzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. That's a good one. Thank you so much for joining for the book, The Only One Club. Jennifer's the only one in her class who's Jewish. And hey, it happens sometimes, but that's not a reason to feel bad, because honestly, everybody's the only one of something. And it's actually a really great thing to celebrate the ways that we are different, in addition to the ways that we're all the same. Both are true. So thank you for joining me for the book, The Only One Club. I like it. And it's also a Hanukkah time book. So lots of snowflakes and people wearing mittens and scarves and thick coats, and that's kind of the mode that we're going to be in for a while. I got my nice warm sweater on myself right now. So just get you more in the wintry feel, even though it's the middle of February and Purim is literally like, 2 weeks away? Crazy. And thank you for joining me for the blessing over all of our boys and girls. I love being able to do that for you. And for our kiddush and our motzi over my gigantic challah, which now that I'm looking at it, it takes up like the whole screen. That's wild. I don't know how I'm going to actually eat this entire challah. And actually, I have 2 of these, and like there's only 2 of us and my almost 2-year-old, and he eats a lot of challah, but he can't eat this much challah, you know what I mean? So we're going to be eating sandwiches for quite a while, but it's all good. Stay warm over this Shabbat, over this long weekend, which is going to be a lot of fun, and if you can go out safely outside and be all bundled up and have a lot of fun, hopefully the weather cooperates, enjoy it, because the nice thing about living in Houston is while we do have these cold days, there's so few of them you can enjoy it, because then pretty soon it'll be back in the 60s, thank God, and it will be really nice. Have a wonderful Shabbat. Stay warm, be safe. I miss seeing you in person, but I love knowing that I can sort of see you in this way. We can spend time together. It's a pleasure for me, and thank you for